Good afternoon everyone. I am Shri from MYRA School of Business. I am sitting with Professor Shakti Sinha. He is a visiting faculty in MYRA School of Business, teaches Business Society and Government. He is also presently the chairman of South Asian Institute for Strategic Affairs, a former IS officer. He writes and speaks on governance, public policy and strategic affairs. Let's have a talk with Sir. Sir, I have a few questions for you. First, what is your opinion on the current government economic policy?
I think it's a big relief from what was happening in the past. The present government has realized that India has to become a major economic power, and to do that we need lots of manufacturing in India. To do manufacturing in India, Make in India is not just about manufacturing, it's about the whole gamut of activities. If you have the National Skill Mission on one hand, the people are well prepared. You have the Swachh Mission, people's health are good. And if they are looking at the larger problem, how to make India a major economic player in the world.
Okay.
And therefore I think they have gone on the right lines.
Okay.
People are disappointed with the results, but that is because they expected too much too soon.
Okay.
The economy is a very, very big ship. It takes a lot of time to change speed, to change directions. But on the lines that we are going, I think India is in for a good future.
Okay. How does change in policy and government, impacts the market, sir?
Oh, it does impact the market a lot. You see, you make your investment decisions based on certain understanding of policy.
Okay.
When the policy changes, supposing that you are working on the basis the tax rate is 32%.
Okay.
Tomorrow government decides to change taxes to 40%.
Okay.
Suddenly all my planning goes for a toss.
Right.
I assume that import tariff on coal will be such and such. If that is changed, my economics changes.
Okay.
So normally we require stability in policies. That does not mean policies have to be stable or fixed. It just means that before a change is made, adequate preparations are done so that businessmen, investors, normal investors, entrepreneurs are able to adapt to the change, are able to make planning. If they don't plan, you have a sudden change, it can lead to a shock. Surprise is good, shock is bad. And therefore, change is very important, but change has to be done in a rational manner, taking into account the needs of society, the economy, and the ability of businesses to change.
Right. Okay, sir. So this subject you teach in MYRA School of Business, that is Business Society and Government, how it is important for MBA students?
I think it's very, very important for MBA students because one, business does not work in a vacuum.
Right.
An investor does not work in a vacuum. A manufacturer, whether you like it or not, government is very, very important. Now the government job is not to control the economy but to facilitate the economy, facilitate investment, facilitate growth. And in that sense you must understand the structure of government, you must understand government policies, how they are going to impact on you, and more important, businessmen must understand what the government is.
Okay.
The government is a mixture of different vested interests, different interest groups with different incentives, different objectives. Government job is to balance it out.
Okay.
So if businessmen don't understand how society is, they will not understand why government does something. So between society and government, which represents the people, and businessmen, there is a dynamic all the time. And therefore business people, especially MBA students, should understand the context, the social context, the political context and the economic context.
Yeah, so that their base will be very strong, right?
Exactly. They understand which environment they are going to work in.
Exactly.
They understand where is the manpower environment and all those things.
Exactly, sir. So tell me something about your approach, the way you teach in the class about this society, because this is a very theoretical subject. How students gain that interest and they wanted to learn. There's something government we read every time in the newspaper. So your approach.
You see, what I do is I try to break down government into its components.
Okay.
Why we have certain institutions? Why do we have policies? What are the historical reasons? What is the economic reason?
Right.
How, if circumstances have changed, policies have changed.
Right.
So, and to link it to the day-to-day life. So they understand how things are moving, how things are changing. If they don't understand that, then they are in serious trouble. So I try to break it up into smaller units and handle one unit at a time. And later on when I go to another unit, I try to establish a linkage across.
Okay.
So on one I build on what I have taught, other I build also horizontal linkages. So they are able to understand government, its components, society, business, the interlinkages. So my aim is to do one subject at a time, but slowly open it up and establish the linkage. age.
So that everyone know what they are learning and how they are learning.
So I give them the theory, I give them real life examples, I use case studies, but case studies to highlight what I am explaining.
Right.
So in that sense they understand what I am trying to tell them.
Really.
But they are the best judge whether they understand how much they like it. They are the best judge.
Sir, no sir, even I am used to it. I had your cases, it was really good. So next is like your experience in MYRA, like your overall experience in MYRA.
No, it's been very, very positive. I was here last year with few people for 1 week. This year it is a 2-week course, much greater. There was half a semester, now full semester. So my approach had to be different. But I am happy to see that the students are very active. They want to learn. Of course, there will always be some who fall behind the class, some who are ahead of the class. But overall, I feel that I see that the quality of students is very good. Their activeness is there. They challenge. And when you give them class test marks, they come back and want to know why I have got only this much and not this much. What mistake I have done.
Okay.
And I encourage them also, please meet me, especially those doing not well, and understand why they are not doing well.
Right.
I mean, at the end, they should know why they have got what they have got. A better understanding of the teaching learning.
Learning process. Very good, sir. So, any opinion on these students here with miracles? Any opinion on the miracles, sir?
No, my opinion is very positive. I am happy to see them. I am always happy to see young people full of energy, full of ideas. All ideas may not work out practically, but that's another matter. So I think the institution has a good future, and the more as time goes, the brand value of MYRA becomes known, so brand equity improves. We'll obviously see definite improvement also. More and more of the better students will come, and that the other students will feel enthused, and therefore I think the institution can only grow further.
Okay, sir. This was really good talk. This was Professor Shakti Sinha. We got a very valuable insight about the business, society and government. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time. It was really speaking good with you. Thank you, sir.